Welcome live to the TBN pregame show. I'm Mary Claire Zacharias alongside Sal Valera, Graham Warner, and Zach Wolzen. We'll be previewing the highly anticipated Week 2 matchup as the St. James Academy Thunder take on the Saints of Aquinas. Guys, the Thunder opened up the season with a win over the Stags, 24-0. What are your key takeaways from this Week 1 win, Sal?
I mean, it was a lot of defensive ball that on Friday night. It was a lot of great defensive ball. But I also would like to see our offense get clicking more. I think with John Hornback now in, I think they definitely can get a little more momentum going into this game. But it was a lot of great defensive ball, and I'm excited to see if they can carry that defensive strength in this week.
Yes, Sal, I agree with you on that. I just think the Stags weren't able to compete with the Thunder just due to some key injuries in the first quarter with their starting quarterback going down with an injury. You know, they just didn't play good football all night, and the Thunder just rallied to win the game. Big shutout, as you see on the scoreboard. It's just an unfortunate turn of events for them. I feel like they could have put a much better fight if they had everybody in, but the Thunder were just rolling all night.
Absolutely, yeah. Miege, of course, it's awful to lose your starting quarterback first quarter, first drive of the new season. But I feel like they're really well prepared for the future. They've got a lot of young guys that were stepping up on Friday. But despite all that, I thought the Thunder played a really, really sloppy game. And I think 24-0 was gracious. We should have had a lot more points on the board. The defense was playing out of their minds. And I think we're going to have to see some step up on all sides of the ball if we want to win this week.
Absolutely. I agree with you too, Zach. I mean, 24-0, you look at that, you're like, that's pretty good. But at the same time, I think we could have easily dominated that game. Also, the Thunder took advantage of Miege's mistakes when they went for it for fourth down on the first drive. So that was definitely huge for the Thunder. But Frankie McGeaney, the quarterback for the Thunder, went down with a right ankle injury, and that's huge. Well, during the fourth quarter, so at least it wasn't in the first quarter, so that's good. Yeah. But John Hornback stepped up and dominated, scoring 2 touchdowns, one with his arm, the other with his legs. What does this injury mean for the Thunder going forward, Graham?
You know, it has potential to not mean too much. McGeaney will be back in a few weeks. Nothing to worry about there. But I am a believer in John Hornback. Yeah. I am a huge fan of his, and I'm very looking forward to seeing him play tomorrow night against Aquinas, at Aquinas. I think he'll do pretty well, and only time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hornback, I think, mentioned one on his legs. That was a massive run. Rolled out and just absolutely darted away, and he was gone. It was just blink of an eye, and he was gone.
Absolutely.
So I really want to see him use the speed more. I think he's going to be great tomorrow night against Aquinas. And I think he'll have a chance. Again, that's with McGeaney coming back. It's great that it's not a full season injury for him, especially if you don't want to be out your senior season. But I think Hornback has a lot of potential to do a lot of good stuff against Aquinas. I like Hornback, honestly. I think he can be a good quarterback.
Yeah, here at St. James, as they said, we're very blessed to have a very capable backup quarterback. So we're not just completely out of the season because we lost our starter. But yeah. John brings an interesting combination of speed that Frankie might not have, but maybe a bit less on the accuracy and play call understanding stuff, reading keys and stuff like that. But the speed and the aggressiveness and love of the game is there. And so I think he could really step up for sure and bring some energy to the team. But it's really really different to have kind of a loss of team chemistry because Frank's been throwing to these guys all summer, all fall, and just for him to go down and have a short week of practice leading up to this is detrimental.
And I agree with that. One last thing. I feel like the Thunder could be playing some backyard football tomorrow, kind of opening up the playbook a little bit for Hornback with his versatility and speed. I think we could really see a lot of different plays and let Coach Joshi cook a little bit.
Do you guys think John Hornback will be able to keep that momentum going from his performance the other night?
If you want my opinion, I think yes. We always talk a lot about this Week 2. It's coming back from senior retreat. Everyone's tired and stuff, but Hornback didn't have that. Hornback has been relaxed, definitely putting in some work, but he hasn't had those late nights and early mornings. So I think he'll definitely be a little more rested than some of the other senior guys going into this week. But I think he can keep some momentum going, but he's going to need to turn up the heat, I think, a little bit against Aquinas.
Yeah, John is it's very overwhelming to start your first ever game in a conference like the EKL against a team like Aquinas when the stakes are as high as ever. And just looking forward on the schedule, it's not going to get any easier. So he's going to have to figure it out and figure it out quick if we want to find success.
Like I said, I'm a believer. I don't think the lights can be too bright for John Hornback, especially after playing in front of thousands upon thousands of people in Marion Stadium last week. I think he'll get the job done.
Now let's talk about Jake House, guys. I mean, come on. He did amazing job in his first start for the Thunder in his debut and at Marion Stadium. He transferred from Beachside High School in Florida. He looked really good, guys. What did we see from him last week, and how is it important for the Thunder offense to have him in the backfield?
He's a great addition because in the past couple years, I know back 4 years ago it was different, but in the past couple of years we haven't really had a bruising running back that you can put in between the tackles and rely on to get those yards. But we were running ISO a lot, and that really was working out for us. And he broke that one run, and he was gone. He showed off that speed, and I think that's just something we haven't seen as much in the past couple of years. So it makes our offense a lot more versatile.
I love me some Jake House, man. I'm really impressed with what he did last week against Miege. You know, I'm a believer in him, and I think he has a lot of potential for this season. I heard from Coach Radke last week that he is the locker room guy. The locker room guy. If he doesn't have any energy, they will shut practice down completely, as the words of Coach Radke.
Yeah, I think we said this on the broadcast. Jake House was making it his house because he was getting the touches and he was going for it. Like, he was fighting through, and then once he got in the open, like I said, on that first touchdown run, he was gone again. So I'm really interested to see if he can use that speed and get in the open against Aquinas. I really want to see him use more of that running speed and try to just open up the throttle a bit. But if he gets in those tight scenarios, he can force his way through.
What are the chances, since he did such a great job in the first game, that Thunder are going to lean more on their run game against when they face Aquinas this Friday?
I think the run game is so important because Aquinas knows what we're going to do. They play us every year. They defend us pretty well every year. So they know about all our passing schemes. They're ready to handle our playmakers as they do every year. But if we can open up the run game and have them stack the box a little bit more, it opens up the passing game and makes things easier for John and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I think they definitely are going to lean a little more on the run game, as John Hornback is a great quarterback, but obviously against Aquinas, at Aquinas, that is a little bit of an intimidating first game. So I think they will lean a tiny bit more on the run game, but not completely on Jake House. I don't think they'll completely put it on him. Hornback's a great quarterback, but I think they are going to lean a little more towards him.
I think they're going to lean more on the run game, too. I mean, Jake House can obviously run the ball, but look at Hornback. He can also run it, too, guys. So they got two players, also some people on the sideline that can come in and get some yards for them, too.
Absolutely. Some Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry-esque offense for the Thunder. Despite the home field advantage, we've played some home games at Aquinas before. We're not used to that. We're not going to have that anymore. So I don't think home field advantage is going to be too big of an issue. But I really think the playbook is wide open for Hornback and the run game itself. I just think that the Thunder should use that to their advantage.
All right, let's turn our attention to St. Thomas Aquinas, who, just like the Thunder, came out of week one with a win. They shut out Blue Valley West 21-0, and their running back, Callan Art, was an absolute machine. 36 carries, 235 yards, and 3 touchdowns for the Saints. How do the Thunder plan to contain such a force like Art for four quarters?
Just staying consistent on the defensive side of the ball. As we saw last week, the defense was playing out of their minds, like Zach said earlier. I just think they should keep up the ferocity this week and just stay consistent on their side of the ball, and we will do great things as a team.
Playing Aquinas every year is such a unique challenge for the defense because they have to stay so disciplined but also be so tough. You're going to get hit every play. You know what they're going to do, and so you can't overcommit, though. You have to stay disciplined, stay focused, and our safeties and corners need to stay deeper than the deepest and not get beat deep. Because if they ground us down, that's okay. They're going to do that to anyone. But we can't get those big completions over the top to take the air out of it.
And those will just add up, too.
Yeah, and Aquinas, they always run kind of the same playbook every single year. So you go in knowing a little bit of what to expect, but the hard part is their playbook is unlike anything in the EKL. Like, this is exclusively them. So obviously you're going to need to adjust a little bit to that this week. It's hard-nosed football. You're going to get hit. You got to hit back harder. But making sure that, like you said, safeties, you got to be ready for that. Just cannot beat us deep because that's what they'll try to do. They'll try to get us in close and then hit us over the top. So you got to get in deep on them. Make sure that they're not throwing it over the head. But then also you got to be ready to just kind of force your way through. And then the defense also, the D-line did amazing last week. They were playing out of their minds. Sam Charlton, 4 tackles for loss. He was just constantly in the backfield. And a lot of that D-line was hustling in other places too. I'm sure there were many other tackles upfield that they had. So they're going to have to play aggressive and get those hits and just break them.
As the defense plays aggressive too, it's like discipline cannot be overstated here. Last week we had 3 personal fouls throughout the game,
Yes.
and Coach Radke was not happy about this in the slightest. So we really need to fix those discipline problems, especially against a team like Aquinas. You know, he's going to be talking and
For sure.
all this stuff. You need to stay focused and just ready to hit him in the mouth every play and hopefully beat him at the line of scrimmage.
Piggybacking off of that, you really cannot fall for the rage bait of Aquinas. They've been seeming to do that for the past couple of years, just trying to get teams fired up, and that does not create good football for the other team, and I think Aquinas has been using that to their advantage in the past. So St. James just needs to stay calm, cool, and collected and keep their composure.
Yeah, it's a rivalry match. It's always been a rivalry. We always talk about Miege as a little bit of a rivalry, but
Yeah.
this one is like the rivalry that you mark your calendar on this one. You want to go get them. So
Absolutely. This is, like what you said,
Yeah.
this is what people mark their calendars for. This is Aquinas, and we had 3 personal fouls in Miege. I can't imagine what going up against Aquinas is going to be like, but I bet Radke got those guys. They'll make sure they're all disciplined up. So Aquinas has Arndt, and the Thunder have House. Do you guys think this game is going to come down to the running backs and their running game?
You know, for Aquinas it always does. Cal Arndt knows, he's been doing this for years, knows how to take handoffs, is a complete workhorse. But I don't think it'll be going back and forth, because when you play a team like Aquinas, you only have like 6 offensive drives max. They drain the entire clock out the game. So whatever we do with our possessions, we need to be calculated and effective, because if we're going out running pitch 3 plays in a row and don't get any yards,
That's not going to
then
work.
there's a drive gone and we're down 2 touchdowns, you know. So you just got to be really smart and effective. You got to think about this, like think about what works for you, for our team, and doing the best we can.
yeah, running backs are going to be key tomorrow night. But I feel like for St. James, we're definitely going to, with Aquinas draining the clock so much as they always do, you're going to have to stay disciplined. I think you're going to have to switch it up, play some run, but play some pass also, because we have to get downfield to try to just negate that time we've lost because Aquinas is taking all of this time to get down the field. And also, I think it's going to be a little discipline. I know you got to get a little frustrated when when their other team is draining the clock out, and you know, okay, we're going to only have two minutes left to get down the field this quarter. We got to do something. We got to get downfield. And that's got to get frustrating the more time you drain off the clock. So staying disciplined, not falling for a cram, as you said, the rage bait of Aquinas, but getting downfield. And obviously this is going to be a very running back heavy game for Aquinas, but I think it's going to be all over the board for St. James.
Yes, I completely agree with you there, Sal. Aquinas has always been the final boss of the EKL, and they will be for the foreseeable future. You know, the Thunder just have to keep their composure, and precision on both sides of the ball will be very important for this game. You know, just taking it one play at a time and just keeping their energy and composure on the field will be huge for the Thunder in this game.
It could be a long night for either defense, the Saints or the Thunder. If one of the teams not stop the run, it's going to be a long night. Arndt runs with power and strength. If the Thunder can't stop that, it's going to be a long night for the Thunder. But that can also go both ways. If House has a great night, it's going to be a long night for the Saints too.
Yeah, and I think for our defense, it is going to be very long, as Aquinas is going to take as much time as they want with that ball. So they're going to be out there a lot. They got to stay. I have faith in them. I have faith they can stay strong and get this done tonight. But it's going to be hard.
Now, one thing to look at, last week, Aquinas seemed to be experimenting with passing the ball a bit more, and it didn't work out too well. They threw 2 picks in, few attempts. So
yeah, short amount of time.
I'll love to see if they try and continue that trend this week and catch us off guard. But if they do, it's important that we capitalize off that, because they obviously struggle throwing the ball.
All right, let's start with our Week 2 predictions. We're starting with Mill Valley at Lee Summit North. Something to note here, Lee Summit North just lost their head coach. Sal, who you picking? Mill Valley at Lee Summit North.
I'm taking Mill Valley. They are a very good football team. They're strong, and I think they get it done. Lee Summit North obviously are going to be trying to recover from losing their head coach. So I think Mill Valley get it done.
Yep, I'm going to go with Mill Valley here at the Jaguars. They got some good playmakers on the field. I'm going to Mill Valley on this one.
I think it's a no-brainer here. I think Mill Valley. No discredit to the Missouri side, but I think just Mill Valley is too much of a powerhouse.
You know, last week I had the blessing of watching Mill Valley play in their season opener, and they looked good as ever. They showed why they're such a great power in the Sunflower League, and they really took down Olathe East, who I thought had some really dynamic playmakers. They contained them well and put a 0 on the scoreboard. So I think, well, with that being said, I think Lee Summit North finds a way to rally around this new coach. Last year they beat Mill Valley when Mill Valley had arguably a better team than this year. So I'd like Lee Summit North here.
I'm going with Mill Valley for this one. They have Blake Jay as the quarterback. He played wide receiver last year. We know he has a good arm. He also plays baseball. And then we got Reggie Reese, the K-State commit, for the running back. So Mill Valley just too much of a powerhouse. A lot of playmakers on the field. Next pick, we're going Blue Valley at Washburn Rural. Zach, who you got?
Blue Valley played this game last year when they had a lot more. Of course, they graduated a lot of seniors. They've got a new quarterback now, but their new junior quarterback, Dan Sogard, played very well last week against Southwest. EKL competition. He stepped right up to the roles he needed to, and made the plays he needed. So I think Blue Valley takes care.
Absolutely, Zach. And as a fan of that team, you got to be happy to have that quarterback be able to step up and have the lights not be too bright for him. Give me Blue Valley as well. You know, Washburn Rural is a good team and all, but Blue Valley just has their legacy in the EKL as just being a really good team, a really consistent team throughout the years. So give me Blue Valley.
I'm going Blue Valley as well. They got the Lockett brothers for wide receiver. And then just like Zach said, Dan Sogard absolutely dominated in his varsity debut. I'm going Blue Valley.
Yeah, Blue Valley obviously are coming into this game the better football team. I think they'll pull this one out. I think Washburn Rural is going to give them a hard time. But I think Blue Valley barely get this one done this week. I think Washburn Rural put up a bigger fight than we're anticipating.
Next pick we have is Great Bend at Olathe South. Sal, who you got?
You know, I think Olathe South get this done against Great Bend. I think that would be a little bit of an upset, but I think Olathe South get this one done. Played great last week. We'll see what they can do this week against Great Bend.
I'm going kind of with the upset here. Maybe not. Great Bend knocking off Olathe South.
I'm with you there. Give me GB. Great Bend. Excited to see the result of this game.
Well, on paper, this game, Great Bend, kind of like a 5A school in the West, coming into Kansas City to play a Sunflower League team, would appear the underdog, but they played this matchup last year. They hosted Olathe South, and they won. They dominated that game. So returning their quarterback, and of course, the Notre Dame commit tight end, I think they contain Olathe South, but Olathe South is starting to find their identity as a team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they showed that tomorrow.
Last pick we got is Blue Valley Northwest at Shawnee Mission Northwest. Guys, I am super pumped for this game. Zach, who you got?
This game's really interesting. Shawnee Mission Northwest, I'm really high on coming into this year. I've heard some great things about their program, but Blue Valley Northwest looked so impressive last week, and I'd be wrong to pick against them, but I think it'll be a great Sunflower League EKL matchup.
You know, this one's really tough. I think this might be our game of the week besides the Thunder Aquinas game. Give me the Cougars. You know what? Give me the Cougars. I think Shawnee Mission Northwest is going to pull it out against the Huskies in an upset at home.
Alrighty, guys. So when you look at the Cougars, they got a great offense, voted for 457 rushing yards in week 1. Then we have Woodruff for the running back, 7 carries, 206 yards. He's super fast. If he gets about 6 to 7 yards away, guys, he is absolutely a goner. So I'm looking at the Cougars. I'm like, I really like this team. Then you go to the Huskies. I am absolutely a big fan. LJ Bowens. Week 1, 15 carries, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. That's rushing, guys. And then we have receiving, 3 catches, 50 yards, 2 touchdowns. So I'm kind of going with the Cougars, but I'm going with the Huskies in this one. Blue Valley Northwest gets the win over Shawnee Mission Northwest.
No, LJ Bounds is a great player, and he is doing great stuff with the Huskies. And I think he'll have a great game. But give me the Cougars all the way, man. They are coming in this one. They're fired up, and they see themselves as a little bit of an underdog. I think they get this one done.
Obviously the Cougars going to look from revenge last year. Got just beat up last year by Northwest. So now that they're a more experienced team, it's really, they need to mature and rally around this and have a solid win to start the season. But cannot be overstated. All these games are great, but this St. James Aquinas game is by far the biggest game in the state this week. So
this is a huge game.
Huge game.
Thank you for tuning in to the TBN Live pregame show. I'm Mary Claire Zacharias alongside Sal Valera, Graham Warner, and Zach Wolzen, and we'll send it up to the booth at St. Thomas Aquinas.